Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I need to go on like this for about a week to get it all done. Incredible emotional response to all this. See some of my old teammates out there, Leon, Art, some of the kids that got out on the field with me many, many years ago. But the great thing about this is being home. I've gotten a lot of awards and a lot of recognition over the time, but generally it was in front of people that I did not know. And there wasn't hardly a person or two that I knew in that setting. And to be home, to be back, and to have friends celebrate with me, it's a really special moment. I'm thinking about coming back, and I was thinking about this little stream down toward the railroad tracks, just on the other side of it. I believe it's Berry Creek. At least that's what I used to call it. I think that's right. And one of my younger days, I was about 9 years old, and I had been treated badly by my father, or at least it was my interpretation that I had been treated badly, so I ran away from home. I ran across the fields. We lived up on 1313 Chestnut, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I ran across the fields and across the tracks and down the hill to Berry Creek. And I wasn't sure I wanted to get my shoes wet, because if I was going to go back home, I'd probably get my backside whaled for getting my shoes wet by my dad, and I wasn't sure I was going to go all the way there. And so I sat down at Berry Creek, and I was sitting there for a few minutes, and I noticed a trout dart up and down the stream. Well, I didn't hesitate very long after that. I ran back home, I got my fishing pole and a can of worms, and I went fishing. And nobody ever knew I ran away from home. But I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Ford for the Hometown Hall of Fame ceremony, for being here, for the plaque, for all of their input and all of their effort and all of their work, George. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, David. Everyone, 1313 Chestnut. I had 28 operations, surgical procedures with anesthetic in my lifetime, and I shot myself with a 10-gauge double-barrel shotgun when I was about 15. I got both barrels. I got one in the side and one in the arm, and it just shattered the arm and blew the arm all up. And I think it was my childhood days were best typified by my sister Martha, who went running across the open lot between our place and the neighbor's place, and she said, "Jerry got shot, but he's not dead yet." But there were many opportunities later on for those things. But the high school football thing was such a wonderful experience for me. My brother was a running back, and I had a meeting with Coach Barlow when I was a sophomore, and I said, "I want to be a running back." He said, "Great, you can be a running back, but you'll probably sit on the bench." Why I don't want to sit on the bench? Well, you'll play tackle, you'll probably start. I don't want to play tackle, I want to be a running back. So I eventually become a tackle, and I'm a sophomore, and I am clumsy as a 2-day-old calf. Big hands and big feet, and every time I reach for something on the table, I knock it over, or I stumble over it. I'm just a klutz. I'm really having a difficult time with things, and I'm not having that much fun as a tackle. I don't think tackles have fun. I think they have other ideas. But anyway, we had a line coach by the name of Dusty Klein. Coach Klein was about 60 years old and had been around the horn a few times. And he realized that my attitude wasn't all that great. And he came up to me one day out on the field, and he took my hand and he said, "Son, you got big hands and you got big feet, And one of these days, you're going to grow into them. And when you do, you're going to be a whale of a football player. And he looked at me and he said, you can if you will. I said, can what? If I will what? And he just walked away. What do you mean? Finish the sentence. What are you trying to say? And he didn't turn around. He didn't look back. He just left it for me to think about. And later on, in Green Bay, I met a man named Lombardi. My first year in Green Bay prepared me really well for Lombardi, because the first year we were 1-10-1. We had the worst record in the history of the Packer franchise. We went down to Baltimore to play the Baltimore Colts, and we get beat 56-0. The Baltimore team had a white colt that ran around the stadium every time they scored. We damn near killed him. So then a fella named Lombardi showed up the following year. And he's talking to us about things we really haven't heard a lot about. And he said, I've never been a loser, and I'm not about to start now. If you're not willing to make the sacrifice, to pay the price, to do the things you have to do to win, then get the hell out. And we were about that quiet, too, when we heard that. And we were going, oh, surely he can't be that tough. He can't be that bad. He was. We had guys losing consciousness on the football field for the next week, 10 days. Just they'd be in the chow line, getting ready to eat dinner, to have a shower. They've dressed, they've gotten the bus, they've got back to the dormitory. So he was loved to lecture also. And we really resented him. He burned us together as a team and as a unit. And anybody that opposed him was my pal, my teammate. So if you didn't like him as much as I didn't like him, you were my teammate. And I didn't care what you looked like. I didn't care anything about how tall you were, how ugly you were, how fat you were, or anything you had. It didn't matter. If you and I were the same mind, we were teammates. So he would lecture us about things like preparation, commitment, mind, body, heart, and soul, most of all self. That person we look at in the mirror in the morning when we should have got the job done and we haven't got it done, but we're gonna, or someday I'll, or give me a little time and I'll take care of it, or all the other rationalizations, crap outs, excuses we use when we don't get the job done. Consistency, pride, character, tenacity, belief in yourself and your organization, your team. So he changed the attitude of the Green Bay Packers. And changing that attitude made a dramatic difference. It's not the size of the player, it's not the intellect of the player, it's not the speed, it's the heart. It's the burn, it's the fire, it's the need, it's the want. It's the effort you give to it. We're short on time, and I could spend the rest of the week here explaining, but there's a poem that I like a lot that I'll recite for you that is emblematic or represents a winner, a person who won't quit and who won't give up and who has the right attitude and the right philosophy. It's a poem called Invictus. And it goes something like, out of the night that covers me, dark as a pit from pole to pole, I thank the Lord above for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. And under the bludgeonings of fate, my head is bloody, but unbowed. In this pale of gloom and tears, looms but the shadow of the glade. And yet the passing of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. Matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate, and I am the captain of my soul. And you, today, are the captain of your fate, and you are the master. It's your journey, it's your turn, it's your life, and it's your decision. William Jennings Bryan was a great orator from Alabama, and he had a saying that went something like, success is not so much a matter of chance as it is a matter of choice. We choose to do the right thing. We choose not to do the right thing. We choose to make the effort. We choose not to make the effort. Again, it's your decision. It's your journey. Henry David Thoreau, Walden's Pond. I went to the woods to understand life. He went for 2 years into a cabin in the woods. He said, I wanted to drive it into a corner. I wanted to examine it. I wanted to learn from it, and not when I came to die, find out I had not lived at all. And finally, Coach Lombardi, after the game is over, stadium lights are out, parking lot's empty, press releases have been filed, you're all alone in your room with your championship ring on the dresser. The only thing left at this time is to lead a life of excellence and quality and make this whole world just a little bit better place because you were in it. It's your journey, it's your life, it's your turn, and you can have the greatest journey that you would ever dream if you want to, if you're willing to pay the price, make the sacrifice, and do the things you have to do. You can, if you will. Thank you. Thank you.